I know that I love selling. Yeah. Oh, hi, welcome, and good morning, good day. I'm Griff, and sitting next to me is Devin Payne, and we're going to talk to you today about Seller Hub, and it's all your selling needs in one place. We're going to go through each of the tabs, or at least Devin's going to go through each of the tabs, and we're going to show you a short demo of what each of the tabs can do, so that you can better locate what you need in the future. There's a lot of great stuff in Seller Hub. Seller Hub is really feature-laden. So let's get right started. Oh, there's your presenters. Okay, so here's our agenda. We'll go through each tab. There's an overview tab, the orders tab, the listings tab, the marketing tab, performance growth tab, and then we'll talk about additional resources. But the meat of this is going to be the demos.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just imagine the top of the Seller Hub, and we transposed and pasted it, and that's exactly what the agenda is. So we are literally going through each tab at the top of Seller Hub.
Oh, I can't wait. This will be so much fun.
So we recently made Seller Hub the single destination for business sellers and for professional consumer sellers. And so this webinar is to just go through it all and make sure that everyone knows what you can do in each tab and some of the little highlights and even some of the new features.
So just to clear that up, what you said, because I think there's some sellers wonder what that is. What sellers don't see Seller Hub?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's our C2C sellers, our consumer-to-consumer sellers, who are using My eBay and who don't have a subscription to a store or previously Selling Manager Pro or Selling Manager. Any C2C seller that doesn't have a subscription will be using our other tools, our My eBay tool.
Is subscription the trigger that pushes them over?
A subscription or being a business seller.
So if you indicate that you're a business seller, tell eBay, then you'll default into that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know some folks are helping others learn how to sell on eBay, and I think some of our experienced sellers who have Seller Hub get a little confused when they have a new seller and they're trying to say, well, now you go to Seller Hub, and they say, well, I don't have Seller Hub, and it's because they're a consumer seller or a new seller.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Right. So let's get started. Let's talk about the overview tab.
All right. So yeah, overview tab, this is kind of the control panel of all of Seller Hub. This brings everything together into one pane so that you can look at it in little modules and kind of get a quick glance at what your business is doing. And so it is customizable. Some of the feedback we got when folks were kind of moved into Seller Hub was that, hey, there's a lot of information here. I don't know what to click on. I don't know where to look. So it is customizable. And we'll go through that in the demo where you can remove.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely. You can remove some of these modules and you can make it just very nice and tidy if you'd like.
But after you remove them, you can always add them back.
Yes, absolutely. We have a cool tasks pane, which again I'll show in the demo here. But this is showing you what is urgent right now, what has to be shipped. You just got a message from eBay from a buyer. And that's defaulted to the top left of this page.
And I'm assuming that can't be removed.
This one actually can if you'd like.
Oh, I wouldn't want to.
But I don't think anyone would want to.
No, in fact, it would be the most important view.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Absolutely. And then obviously orders, so you're getting a summary of your orders, which we all love because that means we're making money, which you just did a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I just made a sale. I'm so happy. Yeah.
So I think the best is to just go look at it, right?
Oh, yes, let's do that. Okay.
So let's jump in, and before we get into the overview tab, I want to also talk about just how do you get to Seller Hub? We have had some questions about how to do that, so we'll do that now. And so are we good to go on we're good on the demo. So we're going to go right through it now. So there's a couple ways to get there. So if I type in ebay.com/Seller Hub, and I'm opted in, it takes me right back to the overview page.
Oh yeah, I know that page very well.
Then what I would suggest doing is just bookmark the page too. That's another easy way to get there. Or the third way is to click on My eBay and then Selling. And that again takes you right back to the overview page.
That's how I get to it. I like that. That's my navigation.
Through Selling, yeah. So that was some of the questions that came through. How do I get there? Those are 3 easy ways to get there. But now that you're here, you can take a look at it and see all these different modules. And I guess when I look at it like this, it can seem a little overwhelming at first, right? So give it a little bit of time. But this is our overview here. And if we look at the Customize up here on the top right, you can see that it's a lot because we have a lot selected here.
Yeah, everything's checked except one. What's that one that's not checked?
So this is shortcuts. So that would be down at the bottom. Let's just go ahead and add it now. And it just pops right in.
Amazing.
So, and not only that, but this, and we'll click I'm done here, but this shortcuts module itself, another thing I want to touch on, you can move these up and down and you can create your own shortcuts in here. So I think that's my favorite feature of this module, because we heard a lot of, hey, I used to go here in Selling Manager, I used to land on this page, I don't know where to find it anymore. You can actually just put it in here as a shortcut.
Oh, that's brilliant. So I can think of one I'd put in right away. It's a real pain in the neck to get my shipping code discount, my shipping supplies.
Yeah.
Just put a link right to that page right there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I like that.
And then again, if I want to just come back in here to the Customize pane, get rid of shortcuts, click I'm done, you see it's gone again.
It's gone.
So it's as quick as that. And also, while you're in the Customize view, you can drag these and rearrange them to the spots that you want. So if you don't want tasks in the top left, if you want that somewhere lower, or if you want some of these that we've placed lower up near the top to make it easy and above the fold for you, you can just grab these, put it there. I can throw it down here. Anywhere that you want to put these modules, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, because everyone has different tastes and different needs. Some people might want to see that graph right at the top, and others, I'd want to see the shortcut tab.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So pull that up top. So let's just go through these modules and just, these are basically for drilling down and getting more detail. So every click you make here is to drill into something else and to give you more detail. And a lot of what you see in these modules, again, kind of mimics what's up here on the pane at the top. So a lot of these links you'll see down here just kind of in a more visual fashion.
Right.
So in the tasks, you see, I've got print labels and ship. I've got a ship within 24 hours. That's a new notification that we have, that it says, hey, this one needs to ship within 24 hours. I click that, it takes me right to what needs to be shipped.
What'd you sell?
Within 24 hours. This is a New Balance women's pullover. This is our product manager's account, actually. This is Tuan's account.
But you sell as well.
I do sell as well. Yeah, I haven't sold anything today.
Yeah.
But not yet. Not a
Give them
bottle
your
of
user
cologne.
ID. Maybe somebody will buy
Yeah.
something. Right? Not a bottle of cologne. Okay.
And then these are in priority order, so we're putting what needs to be done first. We have some messages from eBay, messages from other members, and then some low stock. And we'll get into these. These are all coming from the other tabs that we have at the top.
Oh, I see. Okay.
A quick view of your sales. Many of you that are on here, you will see this graph, and the sales will be filled in quite a bit more than this, but just for the demo purposes, you can see that you get a quick view of your sales in your last 7, 31, and 90 days.
Right.
And then we get you over to the listings tab, and I can create a listings just from here. So I can go right into create a listing, and it takes me right into the flow of creating a listing right there.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of cool, just kind of quick features. This is one that you have to get into and just play around with. It's one of those where it's self-explanatory, but it's really good to come in here and kind of click everything.
And you really can't break anything.
No.
Is there a button to set everything back to default?
Well, you would just re-click all of the modules and it would come
okay.
back to default. So we're populating it based on the other data. So
I see.
It's always there. Another couple things that are cool, feedback. We show your most recent feedback, so you can just kind of quickly glance at that. And then we allow you to leave feedback from here or automate your feedback from here as well.
Wait a minute. So everyone who has access to Seller Hub can automate feedback?
Everyone who has access to Seller Hub and Selling Manager Pro. So that's still that was still a function of Selling Manager Pro,
Yeah.
which was paid.
But
So that
we don't have Selling Manager Pro.
it's in the background.
Oh.
So that will be a change that's coming. But
Okay.
but you can, if you see this manage automated feedback link, you definitely can do it.
Yeah,
right
I
here
use
in
that.
Seller Hub.
I
Yep.
use that. I leave feedback for buyers the minute they pay. And I remember, I think you can set up like 10 custom feedback
Yes.
responses, and it just like randomly picks one.
Exactly. So it doesn't look like you're saying the same thing to every buyer that purchases from you.
Although I kind of am.
You kind of are,
Yeah.
but in a much
Just doesn't. It's optics. It doesn't look as bad.
exactly. And then you get a view of your sales compared to the market. And this is a cool one that I like over here. So it says, I mean, for Tuan, this doesn't look so hot because in the last 31 days, she's down 55%, and the market that she's selling in, sweaters and tops, is up over 10%. So she's got a little bit of work to do in that area.
But isn't it because she's not making that many sales, right?
It is, but
she doesn't have that much stuff listed.
But this is comparing her prior 31 days
Oh,
to
I
her
see. Oh,
current.
oh, all right. So it's month over month for both the market and you.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's down a little bit. And then also here, same period a year ago, she's down while the market is up.
So this is a really good one, and I'll tell you why. A lot of sellers say, my sales are down. And what are you doing eBay to my sales? If you have Seller Hub, go look there, because you can see right away your market compared to the rest of the market on eBay, and you'll know that it's you. It's your sales. It's not really anything that's wrong with the market.
Yep.
Because people are buying sweaters and tops.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And continuing down, selling announcements. This is an important one, especially for our marketing team who's putting these selling announcements together that are really important. As you can see, well, the one that's not here that was just here, it was our security browser update.
Yes.
That's one that impacts almost everybody. So coming in here, seeing all the announcements that are pertinent to you as sellers, and that's what we're looking at here. These aren't eBay announcements or buyer announcements. These are selling announcements that impact
from the
you.
seller team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. There's a seller tools module here, and these are some of the old links that you've loved, you've used. Going to Markdown Manager, File Exchange, PayPal, all those different links that this is probably the most closely tied to what you've seen in Selling Manager, Selling Manager Pro.
In fact, that kind of still exists in the account tab.
Yes.
There's still, you can on your Manage My Store and all that other,
Absolutely. Okay. Promotional offers, again, this is another one where all the time we have a selling team that is putting together offers for our sellers.
Oh, yeah.
And so these are the ones that are showing up that are most likely pertinent to you, that you can activate and use and get, a lot of times there's a break on final value fees, a lot of times there's free insertion fees. So these are the promos that will all show up to you right here.
So you want to pay attention to those.
Absolutely.
You take advantage of lower fees or a fee discount.
Do you ever see those? Do they ever
I
come
do.
through?
A lot of times they're mostly in categories that I don't sell, but when they're in clothing or something, I jump to them. I never see them for fragrance. So there it is. But I have seen them for clothing in the past.
Okay.
And I've listed, I remember listing shoes once because there was one for shoes.
Awesome. So account summary, this is basically the dollars. This is the invoice. This is what you're going to be paying for selling on eBay. So you can keep track of that. We have, again, this is a lot like the taskbar here where you've got growth, and you can see your underperforming listings. Where am I missing product identifiers? Where could I be getting top rated plus that I'm not? And again, these links take you right to the section that you need to be. So if I were to click that, it would take me right over to the section I need to be at.
Wow. I'm looking at mine right now too, and I see, I've done pretty well. So I'm up 531% compared to the prior period when I didn't sell anything.
Okay, so
right?
No wonder you're doing so well.
Well, I listed a bunch of stuff. You list, you sell. If you're not selling, one of the things I have to always ask is, have you listed recently? So the best way to keep your merchandise moving is to constantly be adding to the inventory that's listed on eBay.
Absolutely. And then you've got orders, and this is, again, just taking you to the orders tab, but this is what you probably knew as sold items before, and that's been a bit of confusion because it was called sold items, now it's called orders, same thing. But this will show you, hey, do I have returns, do I have cancellations, what is selling, what needs to be shipped. And
when you click, if the one here says eligible for unpaid item,
yep.
What is this? The buyer is not paid for this item.
Yep. So that means that's...
it was a return. So there's a little bit of a glitch. If you get a return, it shows up as unpaid.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's...
Well, the team will take that down as feedback, and we'll go through that.
On behalf of sellers.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And then just a couple more elements of this page which are interesting. You see this help tab over here on the right. If you click the question mark, we have, I guess there's like 6 videos here about understanding the overview tab.
Wow.
So you can click into these, get an understanding of it. We have made some changes since these videos were uploaded. So we will be also updating these videos very soon.
Yeah.
Griff's giving the eye. I don't know if you
can
see that.
I know how it's a lot of work. I understand. So. Yeah.
So those are being updated. We have some FAQs, and then right below that as well, if you click on this is sending feedback directly to the product manager who owns this page.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yep. So you can jump in and say, hey, I'm happy with this. I'm unhappy. This is what I want to change. This is what I love. This is what I hate. And every one of those gets read I wouldn't say everyone gets responded to via email, but
Right.
everyone gets read and taken into consideration during our planning periods and when we're making feature enhancements.
And there's 2 boxes for the what do you like most and what do you like least, where you have up to 200 characters. So this is a good exercise. 200 characters is not a lot.
It's not.
So you want to make sure that when you have a praise or a suggestion or complaint, you want to get right to the gist of it so you can fit it in those 200 characters.
Yep, absolutely, good point. And then the other 2 portions of this page here are this summary bar. Again, this whole page is kind of a summary,
Yeah.
but the summary bar gives you just a quick look at, hey, you're forecasted for top rated, feedback today, growth recommendations, just really quick hitter information that's pertinent to you on a daily basis.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and
So-
then right above that we also have announcements as well. And this is
Oh,
kind
I
of a
haven't
banner.
look at that. It's like a little. I haven't noticed that before. Yeah.
Yeah, is yours the security?
This stronger browser security.
Yeah. So you may have HTTP in your listings.
I
right?
don't. I've gone through and taken it all out.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you did. All right.
But I'm still surprised how many lists. I buy a lot on eBay, and I'm still surprised how many sellers have not cleaned up their listings. And if you haven't, and you have HTTP or non-compliant links, you now see click here to view the item description. It's a click away, and that's not a good experience for buyers.
Yep. And it's so it's to keep the site secure,
Right.
because putting it at a click away actually keeps the view item page secure, and the buyer can see that it's a secure purchase they're about to make.
Otherwise, if you're in Chrome, at least, and who knows if the other browsers will do this eventually, and Chrome is the most popular browser. If you're in Chrome and we weren't doing that, then the buyer would see a message on top that
Not
says
secure.
not secure.
Yep.
And who needs that? I mean, they'll leave.
Yeah, right as you're buying a new fragrance and you see a not secure, buyer's probably going to run away, right?
Right.
So that's why we're doing that.
I don't want you to know what fragrance I'm buying. It goes to the Russians or somebody, I don't know.
So that is the overview page, and again, all of these links are clickable. So you can either click listings here at the top, you can click listings here. It's taking me to that tab, and if I'm clicking within the module, it's actually taking me to portions of that tab
Right.
that I need to see. So everything's clickable, everything takes me to the right place I need to be. But this is the control panel to just give you a very quick look at your business and how you're performing.
It's brilliant. Let's look at the next tab,
Well, I'm excited.
the orders tab. This is where you sell.
Yes.
So this is a place where I think a lot of sellers hope they can spend most of their time.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, this is the fun tab for sellers,
Fun
hopefully,
tab.
for the most part.
Okay.
So as we've talked about this, I believe last week or a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
that I like to break the Seller Hub up into 3 sections. Overview not included. That's just kind of the collating everything.
Okay.
But Seller Hub is basically what happens after the sale, what do I do before the sale, and how do I make a sale, right? We talked a little bit about that in our last Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Orders is everything after the sale. So orders tab is, hey, from the time the buyer clicks buy it now to the time that they're satisfied in their home with their new purchase,
Right.
it's all of that.
Right.
Sometimes we think of orders as just pick, pack, and ship, but it's not. It's leaving feedback, it's contacting the buyer, it's returns, it's cancellations, it's all of that kind of packaged into one. And so everything that happens after the sale is in this orders tab.
Okay, that's good to know. And you can see that on the left. And when you're in the orders tab, you can see cancellations, returns, cases, shipping labels, archived, and you can also change your return preferences too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all there on the left navigation. We'll go back. We can go back through the demo right now as well. So looking here, you can see that this is the one outstanding item that needs to be shipped here.
Right.
So because I'm in awaiting shipment, this is paid, this is prime, this is ready to go. So this is my New Balance woman's pullover that I need to ship. And
Is that the default, by the way? When if you have an item that's waiting for ship, that's going to come up.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the default. If you
Okay.
click on orders, it goes to awaiting shipment.
Okay.
So that's the most pressing. And so if you look here, a couple of the new features that we've added, one is ship by November 1st. So we've actually put the ship by time frame for you so that you know the promise that you've made to your buyers.
I don't have that.
You said, is this one's outstanding? Needs to be
No,
shipped?
this just sold.
So we're going to have to, maybe you've opted out of the new next generation, the new orders tab, but if not, we'll get you in.
Well, I want to be in it.
Okay.
I feel left out.
I will do that right as soon as we're done. We'll get you in. But yes.
Don't you have any idea who I think I am?
Who I think I am.
Right.
So this will say ship by November 1st. If you said I have a 3-day handling time, it'll say ship by November 3rd.
Right.
So it's just telling you what you promised the buyer and what they're expecting.
If you had same day, it would say ship it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of gets in red as you get closer.
Okay.
We've put the buyer's name in here. So you can see that wasn't there before. It used to just be the seller ID. Now we put the name and the seller ID to make it easier for
I definitely don't have that version.
Yeah, you have. It sounds like you're on the older version.
I don't like that. Okay, but we'll deal with this afterwards.
This shows how you as sellers were feeling a month ago, and now how you'll feel after seeing, because all sellers should be on this now, except for Griff.
Except for me, apparently. All right, well, there it is.
So, and then as we go across here, you see you can add tracking right here. You can print your shipping label. There's a ton of options here to cancel the order, contact the buyer. This is all done on kind of the individual level. You can also, if you have multiple orders, let me go up into all orders here. Now this is showing, okay, this one says ship by November 1st, but then I've also got ones that I've shipped on October 31st. It knows when I shipped them. It shows me when they've been delivered. So I can just look at my all orders page and say, hey, this was canceled, this one's delivered, canceled, refunded. It has all that status, which you're not going to see. And I can feel the frustration building from your side.
Is it showing my face?
A little bit.
Yeah, I can tell.
But that shows up down here, and no, you're not seeing it yet.
So let me look at yours.
So yeah, let's get close here. So yeah, this is showing exactly what the status is. And again, it shows your tracking number. This is something that most sellers are used to, where you can see the tracking number, click right into it, and get all the details.
Yeah, I depend on that. I check those every day.
Mm-hmm. And so this, we're pulling just a small snippet out of that to put it right here, to say when it was shipped, when it was delivered. So you can just kind of breeze down here and take a look.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then going left to right here, you've got sold for and then total. And the difference between these two numbers is shipping and tax. So the sold for is the dollar amount of the item. The reason this one's bigger is because it includes your shipping and tax.
Ooh, it'd be great if we had a column for shipping and tax.
Yes. So there's a place to leave feedback here on the top.
Oh, there is. So let's do that right now.
If you go, you have to probably push the comments link on this one at the top right, and that'll take you to the feedback loop.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that later.
Okay.
I suggest you do it too. I'm talking to the viewers. So.
So a couple other things here. This shows the feedback that you received, and we used to just say feedback received. Now we put a plus or a minus. It shows if you've left feedback as well. Mm-hmm. So as you're scrolling down, you can look and see if you have any negative feedbacks here. Looks like Tuan is doing really well with all the positives coming down.
That's good to know.
So that's all orders. We also you can put your own notes in here, but the most exciting part about this is we've pulled the buyer's notes to this grid page. Do you remember how
you'd have to click on the orders link?
Yes.
Oh, I hated that because you would miss it.
You'd have to click here in the record.
Yeah.
And then you would see the buyer's note like right here. But you had to click in. Now, as you're scrolling through and just looking to download this report or print it out so you can make all these shipments, you'll see it right there, right where you saw this other note is where the buyer note shows up, and it'll say buyer note.
Devin, for people who have never seen this before, and I know there are a few, can you show how you leave that note? I know I use it all the time.
So that one is done on the buyer side as they're checking out.
No, I'm talking about this. Going back to the note that the seller leaves, you can add a note to your.
Oh, just to throw a note on yourself. Yeah,
you have to check one of the listings.
That is it's in the drop down here, and you can put add note right there.
All right, and when you add note, show what happens.
So I'll come here. I'll add note. We're gonna say hi to Juan. So we're in her account.
Oh, she's gonna love that. And then it shows up right there.
And then it shows up.
So I tell you what I use that for. Maybe you use it for something else, but I put my cost of goods sold, the date I purchased the item, and where I purchased it. And I usually have that ready to go. So now I have a record there when it's time later for me to compile those records. You could put your location of your item, where it is in your inventory. It's a really important feature that not enough sellers use.
Absolutely. And then a couple others there's a print feature now. So if you're going over and you're sending this to the folks in the warehouse, you can just print out all the orders as well to them and just shoot that over. You can also download these. This is just taking a second to move forward, but you can download a report to make it easier. And if you're using one of our third-party shipping platforms as well, it makes it a little easier as you download.
I love that.
So let's get back, because this seems to be taking a minute.
We got a lot of tabs to do too, so
yes,
we might want to just keep that in mind.
Okay, well apparently we're in a little bit of a stuck mode with our internet here. So
just click cancel. There you go.
Oops.
Oh, I see. I had to go back. Yeah.
There we go. Let's go there. Now we're back.
Okay.
All right. So a couple more things with the orders tab, and then I know we have a lot of tabs to get through here. So as you mentioned, just going down the left navigation, this takes you through the other parts of the post-sale transaction. Cancellations, I click here and I go to cancellations. I have no open cancellations, so nothing's showing up.
Are these seller or buyer cancellations?
These should show both, because you'll see here as I just filtered by canceled. You can see all the details, and it shows this is the ID, it was requested, it was buyer requested, so this will show you
good.
exactly what's happening with this cancellation.
Right, because a buyer requested cancellation has no impact on your status. That's a buyer requesting to cancel the order. Okay.
Then the same with returns as well, so you can go in here and see your returns. Let's look at closed returns, because she doesn't have any in process right now.
Right.
But it shows, hey, this case, the status of this is opened. This is the reason the buyer wanted to return it, doesn't fit, doesn't match description. So easily come in here and look at your returns and why they're returns. And this is something that, as you're a business owner, I would come in and just look at this and say, what's happening? Why are we having so many returns? How can we fix the business based on what we're seeing on these reason requests here?
Yeah, it's hard with clothing. Even if you try your best to provide measurements and warnings about the size, there's still no guarantee it's going to work for the buyer. So I think, especially in apparel, you're going to have a return rate.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's just managing that, right, to get the best you can.
Yeah.
And then cases. If I click on cases, that will take me to the resolution center, where I'll do it again. Hopefully we don't get lost here. But this takes me right to the resolution center, which many sellers are well aware of. Shipping labels, this just kind of gives me an overview of all the shipping labels that I've printed.
Or you want to reprint if they're recent, right?
Or if you want to reprint or void, absolutely. Yep, exactly. And then if you have any need to archive your listings, I haven't had a need myself. I think some sellers do have that need. I don't know if you've ever...
There are a few listings I wish I had archived.
Okay.
And I didn't. How long do they store?
That is, I'm going to have to actually ask Tuan that question, because I don't know how long they store. And then finally, return preferences. And this is just setting up your automated returns. If you want to auto approve returns or refunds, exchanges, you can do that here, which makes your return process better. Because if I sell something for $10 and it's going to cost me $7 to ship it back, I'm just going to say, keep it if there was an issue with it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the low dollar amounts, especially for sellers who sell high volume low dollar amounts, it's simply not worth their time to ask the buyer to ship it back.
Yep.
But for those of you who sell high-end items, I assume you're not giving the refunds without getting the item back. So I should hope so, unless you're rich and benevolent.
So that is the orders page. And again, just as a reminder to our sellers, it's everything that happens. We don't think of it as just the box is gone, so the transaction's done. It's contacting the buyer, it's leaving them feedback, it's following up, making sure things are okay.
Perfect. Okay, so that's the orders tab. We talked about the new features. Let's talk about the listings tab. I'm going to click mine.
Yeah, so the listings tab is very closely aligned with the orders tab. So this is essentially all of our active or scheduled or drafted inventory that we're going to be listing on eBay. And again, as we break these into buckets, orders was everything after the sale. Listings is basically everything you do before the sale to get your listings up on the site, get your pictures up. And then there is some management as well once you have them listed to improve them. But I think of this as kind of like, what do you do before the sale? This one, again, so you see these columns up and going left to right. You can customize these, just as we did the overview page.
Yeah, and that's the old, that customization, that box is similar to what used to be in Selling Manager Pro.
Right, exactly. So you put whatever you want in here, whatever you don't want to see, you can make it as easy or as complex as you'd like here on the Listings tab.
Yeah, because some folks don't need things like they may not care about shipping cost. So, for example, my shipping cost is it's free.
Yeah,
So I don't need that
Yep.
column. Yeah.
Yep. And right here, so from this tab, you can go to create a listing. And what I like about the Seller Hub is you can do a single listing or multiple listings right in one spot.
Yeah.
So the multiple listing one is really cool because you put in all the information that's similar across all of your fragrances. We're going to follow the fragrance.
They would have the same return policy, the same shipping, and same payment policy.
Exactly.
Right.
So those would all be the same. Maybe there are other elements that are the same that you want to put in here, maybe of the description as well.
Most of the there's I have boilerplate that would be I'd put that, and then I'd go in and individualize each one afterwards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we're going to look at a couple of the new features of the advanced listing flow in Cub. So let's put here that we want to sell some Nike shoes, let's say red, size 8, Jordan. Let's just put in some
Size 8.
let's go with size 10.
That's small feet.
We're going to I'm a 10.5, I think. Where are you at? What are you?
I'm 11.
Okay.
I win.
Kidding. So the cool thing about the new listing flow is that we are doing item-specific recommendations for you.
Oh, those have saved my life, by the way.
Have you started using them?
I've started using them because there's things I would have forgotten.
Yeah.
And even this morning while I was creating a listing, it suggested from the title that I use this brand, product type or product line, and I wouldn't have even thought to do that. So yeah, I love that feature.
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll show you how it works right here. So from our title, because I've only entered the title so far, it's taking what I'm putting in and it's giving me item specifics that I should use. And so I can just click accept all and it will drop them all in, or if there's one that I don't want, I can just add these two.
All right.
But I'll click accept all and it drops them in for me, and Google loves that. Our eBay search engine loves that.
Yeah.
So this is going to help you get found. We also have a new mobile-friendly checker, which with this listing, we're not going to see anything here, but this would pull up what your listing looks like in mobile.
Can you do that again? Because there's
Yeah.
something about this that I love, which is it's called mobile friendly. But actually, if you look on top, there's 3 different views that you can have, and each one is very important.
Yep.
So there's the active content view.
Yep, so this will show you if you have active content in your listing.
Right.
So so it's best to look at this after you've input your HTML.
Right.
Or
If you have nothing, it's not going to find
it's
anything.
that, as we're seeing right here, it's not showing anything. But yeah, and then it will show non-compliant links, meaning links that don't have the target equals blank attribute inside of them. So those are needed. Also, those were kind of a byproduct of active content.
Okay.
So, and there will likely be more added here. But the biggest one is making sure it's mobile friendly. And the best part about this, one click and we fix it for you.
Yeah, so I went through all of my, at the time I had about 170 listings, and just went to the revise each one, did the mobile checker, and it said it was the viewport, which is a special set of tabs to make sure that your text shows up in the window of a mobile phone without having to do a lot of scrolling.
Exactly. You probably had really tiny words that you had to zoom in on a mobile device, and when you click the button, it basically sets it to the screen.
And that's exactly what happened. So I didn't have to do anything. I just clicked yes or whatever, the checkbox, and it fixes it immediately. It was great. It was fantastic.
And the other feature enhancement here is we do have customize now in the listing flow, which is interesting. So a lot of times the listing flow feels complex. It feels like a lot of fields to enter, and there's some that we never enter. Maybe I never sell anything as a lot. I never schedule any of my listings. I never put a reserve price on. You can just uncheck all of these and you won't see them in the listing process.
And there's just the one customized window. In the old flow, there was a customized window for every section, and it was really confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, so this allows you to kind of get rid of what you don't use so that it seems a lot simpler and faster.
I like.
So that's the listing flow. Let's look just at, oh man, we're having trouble getting back here.
Note to self.
Note to self, yes. Going back to listings. So within listings, you can see now eBay notes. We're talking a lot about notes. Here's another one. eBay notes. Hey, this hasn't sold in 16 months. Consider revising.
That preempts anything I enter there, though, right? I've had my notes erased that I've written in. That eBay has it. Will eBay erase one of my notes that I put in there to put their note in there?
It should not.
Okay.
Are you talking about the orders tab notes or list notes within the
listing? So my
view?
active listings, I use notes. I just want to make sure that those two don't conflict.
It should no. It
Okay.
should not. It should not supersede yours.
Okay, good.
But much like the orders tab, you see that on this, there's a drop down here to edit this specific product, or I can select multiples and
Edit in bulk.
Edit in bulk up here. I can choose different actions. I can end all these. I can add edit notes to all these.
Yeah.
So similar to all those. And that was the same as in orders. You can come in here, you can do bulk configurations and edits, and it's really helpful to kind of get things done quickly.
So the big task for eBay was to help with the process that's unavoidable with listing, which is data entry. So all of these bulk features are ways of reducing the amount of time that you have to enter the same data over and over when you're creating listings. Use them. They're time savers, and time is money.
Yes, and so for a short period, it went down to 200 at a time that could be edited in bulk. That's back up to 500 for those of you who may be wondering about that.
Oh, good.
But that has come back and it's back to 500. We did have to make it was a technical switch, so it was something we had to go through for a little while. The search functionality up here is the same as orders tab, so I can just search certain parts of my listing with just any word I want to put in, or I can use these filters. Search by store category, status, or format. You can even advanced search, and so you can say my title contains this, or you can do something like a price. You know, my current price is equal to or is greater than. So if I want to look for everything that's over $50, I can filter by this and find everything that's over $50.
Oh,
or if I want to end everything under $10.
Or if you want to put those items on sale.
Exactly.
You've got a reference then.
Yep. So customize print, another feature of listings that we have, but this is very much like what we saw with orders, where it's the column, it's what we've been used to with Selling Manager Pro, just simpler and cleaner. You can also create listing templates. You can create up to 50 listing templates. So you could do one for fragrances, one for shirts, one for whatever you have that's very similar. I'll show you here.
Is this like the old inventory feature?
A little bit. This is more like kind of like drafts, right? You're creating templates that will help you if you're doing any shirt. You know that the shipping's likely going to be roughly the same.
Yes.
And then you do one for fragrance, do one for baseball bats, whatever you have.
Baseball bats.
Hey, it's the World Series tonight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So.
Is that a big thing with you?
Well, with people, it is. I think, just in general.
That leaves us out.
I like Game 7 of a World Series. Yeah, of course.
Is that what it is now? Game 7?
Yeah.
Sports. What do I know? Cocktail parties, I know a lot. Sports, not much. Okay.
Automation preferences can be done in here. Business policies can be done in here. These are both things that sellers are well aware of, so we won't jump into those.
Okay,
but just showing you that's an option.
Well, we hope they're well aware. I think there's a need for a whole seminar on business policy.
Okay, well, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Me included. Me included.
Okay.
And that's listings.
Great. So that's the listings tab. We talked about these new features. I love that. The mobile friendly link is my new favorite thing this week. It's just really made my life easier. Now let's talk about marketing, because I think this is an area where a lot of sellers don't have a lot of experience, and we're offering a whole raft of tools and features that can help you understand how to make your listings stand out in front of people, including promotions manager and promoted listings, but other things as well.
Yep. So we've talked about what do I do after a sale, what do I do before a sale. These last 3 tabs are how do I increase my sales? I've got stuff up, how do I make more sales, right? So now we're looking at the marketing tab. And if you look down the left-hand column, the headers here, this is about branding, merchandising, and advertising. So up at the top, the brand is just simply your storefront, right? This is you branding yourself, putting your logo in. You can put your store on vacation from here. You can do designs. You can manage your store categories. So you're just managing your store or your brand up here at the top. The other 2 are the ones that you just mentioned, right? Promotions, managing your promotions, and managing your promoted listings. And just like our overview tab, as you click into any one of these, this takes me into a deeper view of my promotions. And so what this is saying is, hey, your base sales are 195, your promotion sales are 146, and so overall, your promotional sales are accounting for 42% of your overall sales. So that's showing me that, hey, promotional sales are working. Ooh, Griff is showing off his right now. I don't know if you can see
He
us.
can't see it, unfortunately, but I have 89.5% of my sales are from promotions.
So you should be talking right now. So what are you doing?
I just promote everything.
Okay. So Promotions Manager, the way that these 2 differ, Promotions Manager is all about increasing your cart size. It's not necessarily about sales as much as it is about how do I get sellers to put an extra item in or buy more, right?
Right, yeah.
Spend 100, save 10%. If they're regularly spending, say your average sales price is $70 or $80, do a spend 100, save 10%, increase that average sales price up to over 100.
Yeah.
Give them something some incentive to do that.
I know I as a buyer, when I'm on a website and that promotion's up there, I will more often than not go look for something else to buy. Just because it's not how much you spend, it's how much you save.
Right. So. My wife knows that very well.
She does.
She tells me how much she saves, not how much she spends.
Your wife and I have a lot in common.
Luckily not shoe size. So promoted listings is the other one. So this one's about, hey, I got you there. Now I need to make the most of this. Let me sell more. That's Promotions Manager.
Yeah.
Promoted listings is getting them there.
It's visibility.
Right.
Right, yeah.
It's getting them to your listing. And again, as we click into this Manage Promoted Listings, it takes us right to the tool, shows us the campaigns we're running, how many clicks we're getting, how many sales we're getting, and
this is so good for promotions. My promoted listings, and I have some going. Zero impressions.
There might be, okay, because you're in the old version, maybe there's an issue there. But
oh, okay, so it's a software, it's eBay in.
Potentially.
Damn you, eBay! I want the new version. Right.
But this quickly shows you, and it gives you a breakdown of each campaign, how many listings, how many have sold, your fees, just stuff that we don't have time to go into in detail, but really good page to drive traffic and then help you convert that traffic.
This is brilliant. When I think back, when I just think back 10 years ago, what we didn't have, and we were still trying to run businesses and make sales on eBay, it's amazing the things we have today. These are great tools.
Absolutely. It takes one listing and turns it into 4, essentially, as far as visibility goes.
Exactly.
So that's marketing. I think that one's been, we talk about that one quite a bit. So let's move quickly to
We do.
performance.
Let's talk about performance, because I think this is one that brings up a lot of confusion for folks.
Yep. So we'll spend the bulk of our time here in the traffic section, which is on the left-hand side.
I think that's where many sellers want to be. Right?
Because, many sellers, you know how to read your sales. You know about the eBay selling fees and how to measure those. Those are all right here. But going into traffic, this is where I want to spend a little bit of time so that we can talk about how to read and understand impressions, listing page views, and everything like that. So up at the top, you can determine your time frame. I can say I want to look at the past 30 days, past 60 days, past 90, or a different time frame. And this is going to show the listing impressions on eBay. And the listing impression itself is, hey, I was on page 1 when somebody searched for baseball bat. And I was on page 1, somebody scrolled up and down page 1. That counts as 1 impression. That means it's seen. It's like walking down the grocery store aisle and you see something, but you just don't pick it out. That's one impression as it was seen.
And that's why that figure tends to be pretty high. Yours says 87,000, mine says 39,000.
Exactly, yeah. This one's high, but then you're competing against 50 to 200 other sellers, right?
That makes sense,
and then them actually clicked into our listing.
I see that, yeah.
And the interesting thing about this one is that listing page views, we're actually showing you from outside of eBay and from within eBay.
And that could be anything. It could be Google Shopping, could be affiliate.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. Facebook, anything like that.
Or Pinterest or one of the social media. Okay. Cool.
That's bringing it in. So this is showing you, the impressions themselves are obviously just from eBay because that's what we're measuring
Obviously,
on eBay.
yeah.
Next one is listing page views, but we can measure that where they're coming from. But that's giving you a click-through rate, and then from there, a sales conversion rate. So on my screen, what you're seeing is you're seeing almost 1,200 listing page views. 15 transactions happened from that, which is giving us a 1.3% sales conversion rate.
Right.
So these three metrics are really interesting because you can directly impact each one with certain aspects of what you're doing with your listing.
Right.
Number one, listing impressions. That would be, what am I doing with my title, with my product identifiers, with my item specifics? Those are all the things that are going to get me seen when somebody searches for baseball bat, right? So if I see my impressions going down or they're not where they should be, those are the three areas I should focus on: title, product identifiers, and item specifics. If you're good on those, you should be doing pretty well with your impressions.
Okay.
From that point on, then I'm on the listing, I'm looking at you between 50 to 200 other people, and what do you, as you search on eBay, what stands out to you when you're looking at a search results page?
Well, the thing is, I'm always looking for relevancy. So sometimes, even though our search gets better and better, sometimes in a first try at searching for something, there might be things that I'm just not interested in.
Yeah.
That I would like to filter out.
Mm-hmm.
And then price. And then I start looking at things like the returns. And now I have a search filter on the side. I just want to show the items that I don't want to buy anything from anyone if they don't take returns. So I just want to filter those out. So I'll click the returns accepted button. Not the free shipping for me. I don't really care. I'll just look for it. I know other buyers do, but those are the things that are important to me.
So that's exactly what is going to determine the listing page views, because
exactly.
This is what your buyers are looking at. They're looking at, as you mentioned, the photo, the price. You can see fast and free here. You can see this is a
that's another
promotions.
One. Yeah, I want for some items, not always. I want, depending on what I'm searching for and the need, I want the one that's going to get to me the fastest,
Yep.
and I'll even pay more for those.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as you're looking to improve your listing page views, take a look at what you're selling, look at it amongst your competitors and say, does this look compelling?
Yeah.
Does this bat looks like a basement floor, does that look like a professional experience? Maybe so, maybe not.
Looks like a serial killer to me.
It kind of does if you can zoom out.
Is that a little blood right there?
But then you see the title, you see the price, you see all of these extra identifiers, and so if you're seeing that you don't have that,
Mm-hmm.
likely your listing page views, 0.5% click-through rate, you just kind of have to look at where you've been and where you're going, right? If you're getting if you're doing better in those aspects we just spoke about, your click-through rate should go up. Then from there, this is the final kind of stage, and this determines our sales conversion rate. So we got them to find us on the page. We got them to actually click into us. Now, once they've clicked in, this is the just don't scare them off or don't screw it up phase, right? So you come down here, you look at, there's the see full item description.
There you go.
There's what we talked about earlier.
This seller needs to look at, there's a lot of probably non-compliant links in there. And I think these are a lot of sellers who are either too busy or aren't aware of the fact that there are seller updates 2 or sometimes 3 a year, and they're just not paying attention to them.
Yeah.
Not good.
That's why the overview seller announcements portion module is so important.
So important.
Going back to that. So this is sales conversion. Once you've got them to this point, they should be pretty primed to make a purchase. So just kind of give them the information they need. This for me as a buyer, is this enough? Does this give me what I need? Is it too much?
Seems like too much to me.
Yeah. So
it's just a baseball bat.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's
don't do
wood,
too
it's
much.
this big, it weighs this much, you swing it, you hit a ball. What else do you need to know?
So you don't like sports. All right, I can tell. You don't, not a lot of love or passion.
Let's go to the
behind
embroidery
baseball
page.
bats.
Right.
So that's exactly how you should look at the journey of the buyer, and those match up exactly with these metrics.
Yeah.
And so you can tell by the changes you're making if it's improving or getting worse, And that's how I would use the performance tab almost exclusively.
So important for those sellers who, again, we usually don't hear from sellers who are doing well. They don't stop, take time out of their day and start complaining about, hey, I'm making a lot of sales on eBay. We hear from sellers who say, hey, my sales are slower. This is a really important page to help give you a window into what's happening and perhaps some insights into what you can do to make it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, well, we've made it to the last tab.
We're at the last tab, the growth tab.
So let's take a look at this. This is basically 3 parts. It's guidance on improving your listing, sourcing, and restocking. Think of the growth tab as just that. It's showing you underperforming listings and how you might improve them with your price.
Yeah.
And so let's go through that. Let's just go through the demo here quickly. So this is the page, and you'll see on Tuan's account here that she has a few that we've deemed as underperforming.
Yeah.
So if you click on these eye icons, it'll show you kind of how we're determining this. But basically, this product that she has is 56% less than competitors, her chance of a sale. So she needs to make some changes here. And what you can do is you can come in and you can analyze this listing. This one doesn't have a lot of the extra data that we're looking for, but you can come in and analyze the listing, and in a lot of cases, which I'll take you to right now, we give you a price recommendation because we have the data to back it. Some of these probably don't have enough of that product identifier data that we need. So let me actually go in here and show you what it would look like.
So again, explain to me the chance of sale. 100% less than competitors, that's good or bad?
That's bad. So a higher percentage is bad. This is prioritized by worst first.
Oh.
So if I'm looking at this one here, this is saying, hey, I've got a 40% less than my competitor's chance of a sale.
Right.
And that's based on an algorithm that we have based on all the data we're putting together from this eBay item. If you look at this Apple iPhone, I have it listed at $345. The recommended price is $285, so I'm pretty high over eBay's recommended price. I can simply just come in here and click match price, and that will take me to the $285, or I can just inline change this to whatever I want it to. Say I know that I bought it for $290, so I can put it down to $310 or whatever that may be.
I get it. Yeah.
Then we'll put it. You can go ahead and do that.
Oh dear, I thought 100% was good. Now I feel terrible.
Is this are you looking at yours?
It's a pair of new shoes that I think I paid too much and priced too high, so I want to get out of them.
Yes.
So can I change the price right here in this view? And then just update it?
Yep.
Oh,
absolutely.
So
do that right now, and I'll show the audience what happens when you click deeper into one of these, when you analyze the listing.
Oh yeah.
It takes you deeper into this view where, again, you can just update the price to $285, or you can change it inline to your own. And we're just giving you data here to have you make an educated decision.
It still says 100% less than competitors. Does that have to update? Because I took $3 off. Is that not enough, you think?
You might want to go to Analyze Listing and see what others are selling for. But
Right.
So this here that you're seeing on the screen, this top bar is typical of what we do on eBay a lot, right? This is our price. This is us just leaving it there, right? We've set it and forget it. Do you do that?
Yeah,
Apparently
I do.
with these shoes you did.
I with everything.
So we kind of set it and forget it. So this is showing our line, and all these dots down below,
Yes.
these are sales.
So there's some outliers.
There's some outliers,
Yeah.
but you're still above all of them. So the reason that this is getting such a steep recommendation drop is that every single sale we've made for this item has been below your sales price.
Oh, that sales price. You're not looking at
this
my
sales
yeah.
price. This is my sale price. These dots are all the sales. So there's nothing that's being sold above what I'm listed for, which is bad. Bad news for you.
Terrible news.
And then we give you more information as you analyze the listing here. So this on the left-hand side, this is my listing over here. And this is comparing it to the top 5 sellers of this item. So I can just look down each of these columns and say, okay, I'm listed at 378. The person who's knocking it out of the park, who's sold 56 of these, is listed at 289. So I'm priced way over what the number 1 seller is for this product. Number 2 is at 303. Another one's at 289. You can see what they're charging for shipping, what their condition is, if they're accepting returns. This quantity sold / available, that's interesting because you're seeing that, hey, if I go to 289, this person has sold 56. I have sold 0 at 378.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And that shows you right there. And
this is such an important bit of information. Again, if your sales are slow, this is going to help tell you where you actually stand in comparison to similar identical items.
Mm-hmm.
And it can make all the difference.
Yeah, and you can accept our price or not, but we're just giving you this data that will help you at least if they dropped it to say 330, maybe you would have made 5 or 6 sales.
Yeah,
which you haven't made.
Hopefully you can afford to do that. If you can't afford to drop the price without losing money and you'd rather not liquidate at a loss right now, then that gives you a better idea that you've overpaid for the merchandise to begin with, or your costs are too high for the market.
So knowing we're coming up on our time here, let me go through sourcing guidance quickly. This is simply looking at eBay's catalog. We're giving the sellers our data to say this is in demand or this is not. So let's just click. We'll just kind of briefly go through this. Let's say we want to look at cookbooks. You cook, right? No?
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here, and I guess they're done by publication year here is one. We can also look at format and subject and whatnot. But basically, this is giving us a growth opportunity score and seasonality. And we can filter by new or used. So this is saying cookbooks are about to take off.
Before the holidays.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Gives us the price breakdown of which ones are selling. So the majority of cookbooks in this category are selling under $20. So if I have a cookbook I'm pricing at $100 to $500, it's not likely gonna.
It better be worth it.
Better. So and then I come down here.
It's autographed by Julia Child.
Come down here, and this is the growth opportunity score. So this is eBay taking our data again, saying, okay, we know we have a certain supply of this. We know we have a certain demand of this. This is the top growth opportunity score that will fill that gap. So go and source this. And if I want to I can get in a little bit more detail, or I can go by format. I can say, hey, Atlas, 1965, just get very, very detailed, and it'll show me, if I get enough in here, it would show me average sales price, but I think these are pretty old, so it can't pick those up, and it would show me a growth opportunity score there. Cookbooks may not have been the best one to go through, but it does tell you your seasonality. It shows you which is the most in demand. Right now, English is in high demand.
Greek.
Subject, yeah, so you wouldn't even think about maybe doing that, but it is showing from our data that it has a high growth opportunity score. So I would just say, again, look through this. We have on the right-hand side FAQs again, but take a look at this, and this will help, especially for the holidays, help you source some of the stuff and kind of expand the product lines you're already in.
Well, that's it.
That is it.
That's a lot of information.
Yes, and our sellers have been feeling that as well.
So I know we don't, unfortunately, I'm not so sure we have much time for questions, but a lot of the questions we're getting, we have 4 here, I just want to get to them. I accidentally switched back to the old version of the orders page. I must have the old version too. How do I update? How do I get back?
Send an email to Griff, and Griff will email me and we'll get you in.
So it's griff@ebay.com, GRIFF@ebay.com. Make sure you put in the subject line that you want, what your intention is. I want the old or the new orders page, and then I'll forward it to Devin. And one other question, let's see, it says here, second try. Oh, no, that's all it is. It's all about the old. That's all the questions we have. So hopefully that'll explain it. One said there are many sellers who want to go back to the old way. Well, I know change is hard, but there's no way you're going to convince me as a buyer or seller that what we had before is better than what we have now. So give us plenty of reasons to explain why the Seller Hub is better. I think we've done that. I hope we have, or else we're not doing our job. And I hope you'll agree too. This is T. That's all the information they gave us. That the Seller Hub, a lot of thought and a lot of work went into this. The majority of the features that are in there are suggested from sellers that over the last year and a half since Seller Hub's been basically active. You can continue to add your feedback by looking at that little notebook under the Help tab that you can click to send feedback, and we encourage you to do so. So I think we're just about out of time.
Thanks, Griff.
Devin, thanks so much. It's been great fun as always. Devin Payne is a product manager. Product manager, right?
Well, I'm on the business.
You're on the business team,
but
so
that's okay.
You still manage a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff, right? And he's an expert in Seller Hub. If you want to go back to the new, if you were opted out of the new into the old, send me an email at griff@ebay.com. That's it for now. Remember that you can always view our webinars on our webinar page, ebay.com/webinars. Usually takes a day or two for us to get them up there. Don't forget that we have our Wednesday broadcast, which is about to start in 30 minutes, for Facebook Live. Devin's going to be joining me. We're going to cover some of this material again.
Yep.
And also there'll be a community chat where if you think of a question and you suddenly say, hey, I didn't get a chance to ask it during the webinar, starting at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on our community pages, on the section that says weekly chat, you'll be able to post your question there. On behalf of eBay and Devin and all the team at this in Seller Marketing, thank you so much for watching our webinar. Until next time, we'll happy selling, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Bye now.